أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح اللهم صل على محمد وبارك وسلم ربنا زدنا علما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay, sister, just two of us today. So before I start a new topic which is about the khabar mutalik bil khabar in افعال الناقصة, I would like to ask you some question to see how we are going about understanding this concept. So please give me a recap going ahead with what are how many افعال ناقصة we have and what are they?
Okay, so we have 6 أفعال ناقصة and they are you want me to say them?
Yes, please give me the
Okay,
list.
I'm still I'm gonna struggle a bit. Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So كان يكون to be,
Mhm.
أصبح يصبح to become, ظل يظل um,
To remain.
to remain, um,
ما زال.
ما زال لا زالوا still
To still be. Yes.
to still be ما دام still,
Madama does not have any other format, only madama.
yeah, just ما دام, and the meaning is it should be?
No, should be is as
No.
long as.
Oh, okay, as long as ما دام, as long as, and ليس will not,
Is not.
will not.
Will is not is something else that we studied in the haruf that we studied before, fi'l mudare. Here laysa is not.
Alright, inshallah. ليس
Okay.
is not.
So you need to remember them, you need to memorize them,
Mm-hmm.
because if you do not memorize them and you spot them in Quran, then you can make mistake,
Yeah.
right? So you have to, the treatment is different.
Yeah.
So you can make mistakes. So inshallah, try to memorize them. And we'll start with the topic today, which is khabar al mutalik bil khabar. So please, can you read this word from the screen?
Yeah. الخبر متعلق بالخبر. The khabar or متعلق بالخبر is the part after the was. The khabar can be a single word or a fragment, as is the case with the khabar in an ordinary jumla ismiya. In Arabic, the only difference between the khabar of a fi'l naqisa and a normal khabar is that when a sentence contains a fi'l naqisa, the khabar is mansoob. Contrast this with an ordinary jumla ismiya, where the khabar is marfu'.
Mhm.
As for the متعلق بالخبر, the rules are the same. It is made up of either jar ومجرور or a ظرف.
Okay. Did we have
I
it
think we did,
yesterday?
yeah, I think we
I
did.
think we did it yesterday. So yes, it looked like repetition.
We did the drill, so we did the
Yeah.
drill 4 as well, so it's
Drill 4 as well. Oh, so we have to
abnormal
start with
sentence.
abnormal sentence structure. Okay. Yes, please. So as we have studied the abnormal sentence structures in Jumla Ismiya and Jumla Fi'liya, then the same thing is here because when we call it as abnormal, what it does mean that whatever the flow of the sentence is, like for in Jumla Ismiya, we have Mubtada, Khabar and Matalik bil Khabar. If the position is shifted, then we call it a abnormal sentence structure. Similarly, in the case of a Jumla Fi'liya, when we have fail, file, maf'ul and muta'alliq bil fi'l, then if any of the position is shifted, then we call it what? An abnormal sentence structure. Same is the case here, that when we have a jumla containing fi'l al-naqisa, we consider it as a jumla fi'liya, and we have mubtada, khabar and muta'alliq bil khabar. And if in this case, if the anything is changing and mubtada is consist of the fi'l naqisa and the fa'il, and then we have a khabar in terms of a rafa, and then we have muta'alliq bil khabar, which is similar, the jar majroor fragment, or a zarf. So when we have this something is the takhir and taqdeem concept that you mentioned in the examples that you did in drill 4. So the same thing apply when something is muakhar and something is muqaddam, then the normal flow has shifted, and we have the part which is not to be placed there is coming in the place of another part. Then it means that Allah Ta'ala or the speaker is in the sentence is trying to make some emphasis, sometimes is trying to draw some kind of an attention here. So this is the same case here. So now please read the first example that we have. Sister Samia.
Yeah, Ustad, do you want me to read that bit as well? That the
No, no,
sentence, the
just do
same.
the example. I think I've
Okay,
explained a bit here.
okay. So قد كنت فينا مرجوا.
Mhm. What is
So we
qad?
have
We have studied qad before.
we have studied it. Yeah, we studied it in when we did the past when we did the حروف الجازمة
So
and
what
when we
was
did
qad?
حروف
Was that the part
النقصة.
of a huruf
قد
jazama?
was it wasn't. It was just we studied what happens when it's before the fi'l mudari.
Yes.
It means
It will not
oh,
change the form
certainly,
of a fail, but it will have some meaning. When qad come
certainly,
before madi or qad can come before mudare
yeah,
as well. It can come
yeah,
before both, right?
yeah,
So when we have a qad before madi, it has a meaning of already, and when we have a qad before mudare, it has a meaning of might, right?
so
In Quranic Arabic, it's certainly, right? Not might. In
yeah,
Quranic Arabic, it's certainly.
okay.
So when we have qad here, then what do we look for? The next one of the fail is in what form? Madare or madi, right? So what do we have here?
So here we have so kunta, which is madi.
Which is a madi. Okay, so
Mm.
we have a afal naqisa kana into kunta format. So what is the hidden pronoun in it?
Kunta is anta.
Anta kunta. So
Yeah,
do we have to look for the outside file here?
no, it's not huwa here, so we don't know.
We don't have a outside file here. So this whole file naqisa, how do you label it?
Mubtada.
Is a mubtada here. Good.
Yes.
Now what is the next part?
The next part is fina, which is fi is a harf of jar.
Mm-hmm.
Na is the jar majrur attached pronoun. So this will
Mm-hmm.
be the متعلق بالفعل.
It will be a mutalik bil fi'l. And how do you put it in the meaning?
We say oh, when we're translating or
Yeah, when we're translating, what does fi means?
in.
And what is attached pronoun na means?
Na means us.
Yes,
So in us.
in
So
us,
um
right?
yeah,
Here is amongst us or in us. It's like we use the appropriate uh, pronoun, sorry, appropriate preposition as per the English language. But
yeah.
the concept is here clear. And what it is mutalik bil
It
mutalik bil
is
khabar,
متعلق
mutalik bil
بالخبر.
fail. It will be
Yeah,
mutalik bil
متعلق
khabar.
بالخبر. Yeah.
Very good. And what's about the next one?
And then we have مرجوا,
Hmm.
which is اسم in nasab status. So this will be the khabar.
Okay, so what is the difference here? Do you consider it as a normal or abnormal sentence?
Abnormal because we have the متعلق بالخبر مقدم, which is come first, and then we have the خبر مؤخر, which is come after the متعلق بالخبر.
Okay, so if we translate it, so we have qad with madi. So we said
Yeah. So we said it
certainly,
with have already.
certainly you were or you had been. Marjuan is not a source of hope in us. So
Yeah.
certainly now in the translation, the effect is not showing, right? When you translate, you put the khabar first and the mutalik bil khabar later, but then you have to emphasize some way.
Yeah.
So then you say you only or you certainly had been a source, only source of hope among us,
Yeah.
right? This should be translated it that way so that you know that So when you have a focus, like only your source of a hope only among like um definitely for us, right? Definitely among us or something like that. You have to put some emphasis in this sentence. Okay, good. Now to what who do we have else in with us today? Sister Hodma. Sister Hodma, Assalamu alaikum. Can you do the next one, please?
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh. I'm sorry, I just joined, literally.
So we are doing abnormal sentence structure. There's nothing new that we have done in Jumla Ismiya
Yes.
or Jumla Failure. So just try to attempt it.
Okay, from where?
Wakana lahu tamurun.
Okay. Wakana. So kana is our fi'l naqis.
Mhm.
Lahu.
Now, first tell me if we say fail naqis, then we have to give me a file as well.
Okay. Um. So it is in the huwa form.
Mm.
Um. Lahu is an attached pronoun.
Don't
No.
go ahead with this. You have to
Oh, sorry.
give me
It's in the.
first if it is a huwa form, do we look for the outside doer or not?
Yes, it's huwa form, and so we look for the outside doer.
Mhm.
Uh, and the outside doer is, well, the doer is huwa.
Mhm.
Um, and then lahu tamarun is so lahu is jar majrur fragment, and
Yes.
that would make it متعلق بالخبر مقدم, and then tamarun
Mm.
is the خبر.
Okay. There is something that confuses me here because the khabar of kana or ikhwatuha must be in rafa form, must be in nasab form, not in the rafa form. And here it is in the rafa
Ah.
form.
Is it the fact that it's been swapped around?
It does look like it, but doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not sure.
Is this the outside doer? No.
For me, if you look at it, does this look like an outside doer? So we can say that doesn't look like a they have mentioned have marked it as a khabar because they have done up two lines under it, but since it's the first raf'a before after the kana, so it should be an outside do and kana is in huwa form. So when you say wakana lahu tamarun, then you can say fruits, when fruits are for him, and for him was fruit, the fruits were for him, not are, because this kana, the fruits were for him. And when they say he had fruits, then you had splitting is that fruit is a khabar. But I think this should be translation should be fruits were for him or fruit was for him.
That's why it said literal translation, and for him was fruit.
No, but for him was fruits is
Oh, okay,
considering
yeah.
as what is again fruit is coming as a khabar. But I think that definition and
Yeah.
the samarun here is not the khabar, but it is a part of a mubtada. Or if it was a khabar, it should be samarun. So I think I need to check it with my stada to see why it is there. So, Sister Samia, can you message me this one, please?
Okay, yeah.
Because I think this should be wakana lahu tamaran, or if it's wakana lahu tamarun, then it should be fruits were for him, or yes, certainly fruits were for him. The fruits were only for him, or something like that, because we have we but because the lahu is coming between tamarun and kana. Okay. Now, Sister Samia, if you finish max taxing, then please attempt the next one. I think this is again the same thing.
Okay. I'm
So
moving
before
into
the
the
sister starts, Sister Parveen wants to join.
Okay.
Sorry, Samia.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Jazakallah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. فليس عليكم جناح. Yeah, we have the same thing.
I
Okay.
think there's the same thing here. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we have fa, which is a harf. Then we have laysa, which is our fil naqis,
Mm-hmm.
and which is in the dua, inside dua is huwa. So then we look for an outside dua,
Which looks like junahun.
junahun, yeah, which is in rafa status. Then we have alaykum, which is our jar majrur fragment,
Mm-hmm.
which means on you. Or, yeah, anyway, so the falaysa is the mubtada, alaykum is the mutalik bil khabar.
And junahun looks like. So it should be translated as so no blame is on you.
Mm,
So there is no blame on yours, no blame is on you. So there is no blame on you. They're putting same thing here, but yeah, I think this thing I need to discuss with Mastada to confirm it to you because this confuses me as well. Because when we did in
okay.
so such a hurry. We did not go through all of them.
Okay, so after class, I will message you with both of
Yes,
those inshallah.
yes, please. That I will take away and try to find the right explanation for this one. So that was an abnormal sentence structure, and apart from these two, I think the concept is clear. It's similar as that we have studied so many time before and practiced so many time before. So this is nothing new for us. The only thing new is that with mubtada we have to look for the fail and a file, and then the khabar and muta'alliq bil khabar. So the next bit is a complex sentence structure. Now I want Sister Hodma to please read complex sentence structure here from here.
Okay. Um, Complex sentence structure. As is the case with a regular jumla ismiya, it is possible for the khabar to be a full sentence. When it comes to kana sentences, the khabar can only be a jumla fi'liya.
Okay, so about
When
this thing here, sorry if I'm stopping you here. When we have a regular jumla ismiya, we can that the khabar can be a full sentence, right? It could be a jumla ismiya, it could be a jumla failure, whatever. But when we have a kana sentence, the khabar cannot be a jumla ismiya, but only be a jumla failure. Is that what you understand what I'm saying here? Any confusion to anyone?
so this is in normal sentences.
This is the complex sentences, sorry, we are
Oh,
discussing. Whenever we discuss complex sentences, what we have studied, the jumla ismiya, jumla failure, that the khabar is cannot only be a word or a fragment, the khabar can itself be a jumla. That's why we call it a complex because there's a jumla inside a jumla, which is there's a khabar, and we call it fi mahalli rafa or fi mahalli nasab. Fi mahalli rafa for jumla ismiya, fi mahalli nasab for jumla failure. But when we are talking about the افعال الناقصة kana or akhwatiha, then when we have a khabar as a sentence, then it could only be a jumla failure, not a jumla ismiya. That
okay.
is the only thing that is new here.
Is it only kana or the whole group?
The kana or akhwatiha. When you say kana, it means that we references at kana, but we're talking about the whole of group. The most common fail naqis used in Quran is kana. So that's why everything is referred to kana. Only few examples are there for the others. Please keep on reading.
When the fi'l is mudari' and it comes after kana, one of two meanings is conveyed. The first is was, were, doing, as in I was cooking. The second is used to X, as in I used to cook. Context reveals which of the two meanings is intended.
Okay. So when we're talking about when we have a kana, when the fail is mudare and it comes after kana. Like when you say that the khabar of kana is what? A failul mudari jumla. So there are two meaning because when you have a kana, when we say that I was, it's meaning of to be, and we have a kana is the madi format, so it will be in the past. I was, I were, and that I was cooking. And the second is thing that you can say I used to cook. So I was cooking or used to cook. It's the same meaning applied because I was cooking means it was not something I was doing previously. And I used to cook means I used to do something previously, but not now. So, context reveal which of the two meanings are intended. So, if we have to choose between I was or used to, then it is the context that will define which of that to be used. When we have the khabar of kana as what? Fi'lul mudari. Is that bit clear? Because this is something new. Is that clear to all?
Yes, أستاذة. So it's going to only be a جملة فعليا. Do we have to say في محلي?
When we have jumla, now if we have a kana and ikhwataha, what do you say? Fi mahalli nasab or fi mahalli rafa?
We say في محلي نسب.
Fi mahalli nasab because it is a
It's a
jumla
fi'l.
ismiya, but the kana, so kana, khabar of kana is always nasab. So this jumla failure mudare will be fi mahalli nasab.
Okay, إن
Very,
شاء
very good question. Please,
الله.
Sister Hodma, carry on reading.
As in the case with an ordinary jumla ismiya, the mubtada and the khabar match in number and gender.
Mm.
So the pronoun inside of the mubtada, kana, matches with the pronoun inside of the fi'l mudari', inside of the khabar. Know that the status of the fi'l remains unchanged. It is always marfu'.
Okay, so this is thing that we have to match the number and gender of the khabar and the mubtada. So when if we have now what we have to do, then we have to match the number and gender of a kana with the fail mudare coming in the as a khabar. So we have to match them to see if they can be qualified as the khabar of kana, right? Okay, now we have the example, and now Sister Parveen, Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Ustada. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you? Been listening to you after
Alhamdulillah.
such a
How are you,
long
Ustaza?
time.
Yeah, because of timing is changed, so that's why it's very difficult.
I know, I know. So are you listening to the recordings? Are you following the lectures?
Some of I didn't, but inshallah I will go over. That's why I today I'm just take like maybe live is good, but it's very difficult to maintain every time live sessions.
Yeah, I know, I know. So we
But
wish you
summer
good
was
luck.
very good for me in the vacation. Every single day I'm taking, and mashallah, I get so many benefits. But now is very different issues comes.
I know, and anyway, we are on the advanced side, so you have already covered the basics. So whatever we are studying now, it's just adding up to the value because it's nothing, it's very few new things coming up. It's already the concepts are there, and we are just adding up to the structures that we have been um, until the September that we have studied and built up. So inshallah, you will get along. Please do not
Inshallah,
give up
Ustaza,
and
because
keep on
I
studying.
really miss the live classes because I learn a lot from you, mashallah, different style of learning. But now time change again after week our time day saving time start, so it's also different systems.
So same as well. We will have the hour shift as well here. So yeah,
May Allah make it easy, Ustaza.
inshallah. Sister
Inshallah.
Samia, can you
So please
please?
forgive me because I really love to attend your class live, but
No,
I
may
couldn't.
Allah accept your effort and may Allah make the easy learning for you.
Inshallah,
And we are
inshallah.
strict on time as well. So Sister Samia, can you please quickly look at the example that we have in front of us?
Okay, Ustaz. which the from translating?
From innama kunna, the first one.
Okay, yeah, Bismillah. Bismillah.
إنما كنا. Oh, Ustad, I've got a number. I think it's the doctor. Can I
Please
be
go ahead,
excused, please?
Sister Hodma. Can you can you do that, please? Sister Hodma? Hello? Sister Hodma has gone, so it's you and Sister Praveen. Okay, let me carry on with that. So we are recording anyway. So this is the example here, which is innama kunna nakhudu wa nal'abu. So innama is inna is a harfi nasab, and ma is a ma attached to it. Ma is a ma of something that we have not studied yet, but forget this part and come to what we are studying, which is kunna. So kunna is is a fi'l naqisa, and it is in madi status. And what is the kunna? Kunna means kunna inside is nahnu. So inside pronoun is nahnu, so we do not have to look for the outside doer here. So kunna uh, will become our mubtada, and nakhudu wa nal'abu. Nakhudu wa nal'abu, it does look like that it is a khabar of kunna, but this is nakhudu is a failul mudare. So inside the khabar of kunna, we have a failul mudare. We have a failul mudare, and this means that this is a jumla failure starting. So nakhudu with starting with the noon. So what does it mean? That we have what is the hidden pronoun in here? What is it again?
نحن.
Nahanu. Yes, very good. The nahanu. So we have nahanu and is plural, and kunna is also plural, and they both have the same gender and number inside it. So we have a match, and we can say that nakhudu is the khabar of kunna, and nakhudu one nalabu. So there is a vav, the vav of ataf, and nalabu is also a fi'l mudari. So they have two fi'l mudari connected towards the va, so we consider them both as the khabar of kunna. So ataf connecting nahudu and nalabu, which becomes the khabar of kunna for us. So and we translate it that we say we were, because kunna, only chatting idly and playing. Nahudu means chatting idly, like this idly talking, and nalabu playing. So we were only chatting idly and playing. So here we see that the kunna, nakhudu, and nalabu, they match in gender and number. The second example we have here is
Ustaza?
yes,
So we use kunna because it's the plural, right?
we do not use
Otherwise, it's kana. We can
we
use
use
here innama kana.
innam. If we say kana, it was be what? Kana will be he.
Ka, yeah, kana is a dual.
Kana kana alif with the alif.
Yeah, kana,
If we use kana, then it will be a third person. Then will be huma kana.
huma
Then we
kana.
then the nahudu and al abu cannot be used. What will be using?
Okay, so kunna is using for the plural.
Kunna, well, kunna was used in the sentence because they were talking about the person is talking about him or
Me, us.
herself and the
Okay,
someone
yes.
against with them.
Yes,
So this
yes,
was
yes.
the
Got
first
it.
person talking.
Yes,
Then they
yes,
used the kunna that we were what
yes.
we were doing. Nahudu and nal abu. So that why the fi'l mudari we use is has to be match this the status of the kunna. So
Okay,
that's
yes,
why
got
it
it.
is also
Yes.
in what nahnu format, and it's also is matching with the kunna.
Okay, yes, got it. Jazakillah, khair, Ustaz.
No problem. And the second example, we have kana. The kana is what? Huma kana. Then we have, do we not look for outside doer? So it's a fail and file here, kana, and will become our mubtada. And what is the khabar? Here, it's again is a jumla failure because we have yakulani al ta'ami. Yakulani al ta'ami is like Ya starting with ya is a failul mudari. Ya aklani, what is the inside pronoun here, Sister Parveen?
Huma.
Is again homa. So kana
Yes.
and yakulani match in the status and number. So kana with the yakulani, it looks like the yakulani is the khabar of kana. At-ta'ami, what is at-ta'ami related to yakulani? At-ta'ama, sorry,
Is a maful?
is a maf'ul. What is maf'ul bihi?
Yes, maful
Ak-
bihi.
Akala means to eat.
Yeah.
Akala yakulu. Akala means to eat. Yakulani means both of them and
Eight.
eat. A tam and
Yes.
what they eat, food. Tam is food. So kana, the two of them, and now we use used to eat food. The two of them were eating food, but then two of them used to eat food. And this other thing depends on the other context of the ayah that we have not been given. That's why the two used to use is used here, not the were. Right?
Okay, Ustaza. So instead of used to, we can use were. They were.
Yes, there are two possibilities when we have the fi'l mudari
Okay.
as a khabar.
Okay.
We can translate the sentence
Used to, yeah.
as the I were, we were, she were, or I
Yes.
used to, we used to, she used to,
Yes.
you know.
Yes,
So that
Ustaza.
and that depends
Jazakallah.
on the context of the
Yes.
sentence.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah. So now we're talking about what we have discussed so far is the khabar inside the fail naqda is fail mutari. Now we will see if we have a fail madi as a khabar of a kana. So that will imply that the event occurred long time ago. So when we are thinking about when we have a kana, like it's same thing that is talking about the madi. But when we have a khabar as mudare, it means that something happens in the madi, but not long ago. Like something happened in the madi, but short a while. Like I was discussing something I did this morning, like something I did yesterday. But when we have a kana sentence, which is madi, and then we have a khabar as a madi as well, it means something happened long ago. We are quoting something from the history. We are quoting something from experience something long ago, and then we are talking about such a sentence. Then we have the kana with the khabar in the fi'l madi format. So this we say that this construction is not used in modern Arabic, only appear few times in Quran. And then again, the pronoun inside of kana must matches with the pronoun inside the fi'l madi. So the rule applies the same. Then when we have fail and we have a kana, we have to match the pronoun. So here the example is in kuntu qultuhu faqad alimtahu. I mean in is a again the harf like the kuntu. What is the inside pronoun when we say kuntu?
Ana.
Oh, ana is written over there. That's why. Why ana? Why ana sister? You are right, but I want to know why ana.
Because نصرت
Yeah.
so كنت.
Ana nasartu, ana kuntu. Right? So we should know that kuntu is ending with the dhamma. That's why it is the pronoun is ana. Right? You should be able to answer these questions because if you say ana, you should know why it's ana, and you must have referred to the the madi chart. So ana kuntu because it's a kuntu. So and inside pronoun is ana. Now we have what? Qultuhu. Qultuhu again. What is qultuhu? How do you break it? Is that fail, file, and maf'ul in terms of fail maf'ul? Qultu and who are two parts. Qultu is a fail with the hidden pronoun cited, and who is the attached pronoun which is maf'ul bihi. When I say qultu again, it's ending with the dhamma, and so it is what inside pronoun is ana. So qultuhu is the khabar of kuntu, and it is the fail, file, and maf'ul. Maf'ul is who. So kuntu become the khabar of kuntu. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, أستاذة.
Okay, so
Used
this
to.
is one sentence. In kuntu qultuhu and faqad alimtuhu. It's the other part. So when in kuntu qultu, he had I said it long ago, and then faqad alimtuhu, you would have known it. Fa means so, then you qad means we did have the would have meaning coming here. Alimtuhu, you would have known
So
it.
that would be the khabar number 2?
No, it's not a khabar. Since fa is coming, then it is
Yeah.
separating,
Oh, the separate,
and then
okay.
it's,
Oh,
you label it differently.
okay, good. Okay.
Mhm. So good. So here is that we have studied the complex sentence structure. Is that clear to everyone?
I missed some of it, but I
Yes,
was listening.
sir.
So,
So when we use the mozare in khabar, so we use the kana. No, means work is done very close, not very far. But
yes.
in Madi is long time ago, right?
Yes, yes. So you
Okay.
have to imply the meaning of something happened long
Okay.
ago
Long ago,
when
yes.
you are talking about Madi
And it's
as a
appear in
khabar
the
of
Quran
kana.
most of the time, not
Yes,
in
so
normal.
modern
Okay.
language doesn't use it. Quran has
Okay.
used it few times. So when we have kana and as a khabar of kana, we have fi'l madi. It implies something happened long ago. And when we have a kana and the khabar of kana is fi'l mudari, something still happened past, but in the recent past.
Okay. Jazakallah khair,
Okay,
Ustazah.
okay. Okay, so this is where we send a complex sentence structure, and now we will touch upon this last bit, the translating the kana sentence before I bid farewell with you today. So, Sister Samia, can you please read for us?
Okay.
Uh,
So,
I have a question.
Yes, please.
For the used to, why you using this word
Uh,
used to?
Okay, so when we say then when we are translating the kana sentences with the khabar of as a fil madi, we have two way of explaining it is as a was were or used to, and this depends on the context. Since we do not have the context of the ayah, so when you're saying that something I were doing it, right, then what does it mean? I was just saying that I was doing it, or they were doing it, then it means that they were performing that task, and that possibility is that they can perform it yet again as well, right? But when they say they used to do it, it means what? They were used to do something, but they're not doing it anymore. And this context, we cannot see by the part of the ayah that we have here. It has something to do with the other bits that been discussed previously for that ayah. So then you will know what the act we are talking about is that something done and that's not been continuing in the future or in the present, or the act is something that they were doing and that will they will continue be doing later on. So that can only come from the context of the ayah. Okay, is that clear, Sister Mabibah? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
I really yeah.
No,
But
it's okay to say
yeah,
no. I can
I
explain it to you
listen
later.
again.
Okay, listen to me something. Wh- The first thing that I think you missed when you joined, that when we have kana, then as a complex sentence we have studied in Jumla Ismiya and Jumla Failia that we can have a khabar as a sentence. If we have a Jumla Ismiya, the khabar of Jumla Ismiya can be a Jumla Ismiya or Jumla Failia. When we are studying Jumla Failia, we studied the khabar of Jumla Failia can be Jumla Ismiya or can be Jumla Failia. But now we are studying kana. So kana has something always different than the rest. So when we have a kana, we cannot have a khabar as Jumla Ismiya. It can only be a Jumla Failia. Now that arises the two situation. The first situation is that when we are talking about, when we saying kana, is definitely we're talking about past, because otherwise will be yakunu, right? So kana or its variants always about the past. When we have past, then some activities has happened in the recent past, and some activities happened long time ago. So when we are talking about the recent past, we use fe'lul mudare as a khabar of kana. Now when we have a fe'lul mudare, we have two way of explaining something. That's something that we did in past and something that we used to do in past. Do you understand? something that
Yes.
I did in the recent past, something I used to do in the recent past. So, how to translate it using were or used to is something we cannot just, when we try to translate it with this simple sentence here, we cannot be sure of unless I know what is the story behind it. Our act we are talking about is something that we used to do but we are not doing anymore. Like if we're saying that the if the Sahaba are discussing something to the other people, and they say we used to worship idols before Islam, and if they certain and they have a kana sentence, and they if we know that they're talking about the time of ignorance, then we know that we have to use used to, not were, because that they have accepted Islam and they will not be doing it anymore. But if I say the Sahaba says and that they were riding camel, so is that something that they would not be doing anymore? They were riding camel, but it's a possibility that they will be riding camel, and they are riding camel now. So some activities if are time dependent, and some activities are part of the history. So when you have the context of the ayah, only then you can translate it as were or used to.
Okay. Now
Is
it's
that clear now?
yeah.
Okay. And the last bit of summary is that when we have a kana and we have to explain something in the in the
Long
late in the
time.
history, like we're talking about the time of the Moses, or talking about the
Yeah.
time of the Isa alayhi salam, then what we do, we can use
Kana with
kana with the failul
body.
madi as a khabar. Very good. Now, Sister Samya, please quickly read this translating Kana sentences so I can finish.
Though a kana sentence is labeled as a jumla ismiya, it translates as a jumla fi'liya in terms of the order of translation.
Hmm. Okay,
Recall that when yeah.
so when we have a Kana sentence, though which is labeled as Jumla Ismiya, but we are translating it, boss, as a Jumla Filia in terms of what is like he used to, I were, he were, she were. So we are using it as a, because in English, I was eating apple is considered as what? Is a I was is considered as an action. So that's why when you're translating it, you translate it as a jumla failure. Please.
Recall that when translating a jumla fi'liya, you translate the fa'il and then the fi'l, then the details.
Hmm. So that's why I say when we have a jumla failure, file, fail, and maf'ul when you are translating. Then when we have this fa'al naqisa, our mubtada is fail plus file. So we will translate file and fail, then we will go for the translating the khabar. And then we will put our whatever is MR that the kana is putting here, and then we will have the detail of that kana. Next bit, please.
When translating a sentence with a fi'l naqisa, you translate the ism, then the fi'l naqisa, and then the mutalik bil khabar or the yeah.
Okay, so when we are translating a sentence fail naqisa, what you are doing? You're translating the ism. Ism is what? Is maful. Sorry, file. When we say file, we call it the ism of kana. So we call the file for fail. We call it ism of kana. Or do we say outside doer the doers? It's called ism of kana. So we translate the ism first, then the fail naqis, and then what? The khabar or the mutalik bil khabar
Mutalik bil-
we have in the sentence. Okay, is that clear to all?
Yes, alhamdulillah. I think
Okay, that was quite an overload, and I think negating kana sentence would be an overkill if I go for it, and I don't have time to explain them all. So I would like to end our session here today, and inshallah next week we will have a session. Oh, I have to explain something to you as well, that because so let me end the recording first.